It is 11:02 a.m. on April 22nd, 2025. This is the Town of Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency public hearing for the Sunrise Wind LLC project. I'm going to read the notice of public hearing into the record. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing pursuant to Article 18A of the New York State General Municipal Law will be held by the Town of Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency, the agency, on the 22nd day of April 2025 at 11 a.m. local time at Town of Brookhaven Town Hall, 1 Independence Hill, Farmingville, New York, 11738, in connection with the following matters. Sunrise Wind LLC, a limited liability company organized and existing under the laws of the state of Delaware on behalf of itself and or the principals of Sunrise Wind LLC and or an entity formed or to be formed on behalf of any of the foregoing, collectively the company. The company is a global leader in offshore wind. The company has applied to the agency to enter into a transaction in which the agency will assist in the acquisition, constructing, and equipping of an offshore and onshore transmission cable, the transmission cable, to be located on land covered by easements, licenses, leases, right-of-way permits, or other access agreements to be granted from the state of New York, municipalities, or other governmental agencies, collectively the right-of-way, and designed to deliver the power generated by the Sunrise Wind Farm, an offshore renewable energy generation facility with the capacity to produce approximately 924 megawatts, consisting of one, up to 6.2 miles, 320 kilovolts of direct current DC submarine export cable from the New York State territorial waters boundary, located approximately 3 nautical miles offshore from Fire Island, located on a right-of-way granted from the state of New York, then to an eastern portion of Smith Point County Park on Fire Island, 2, then up to 1,575 feet onshore and underground, where transmission cables will be spliced together at the Transition Joint Bay, TJB, located underground in a concrete vault within the parking lot for Smith Point County Park. 3, the TJB will be constructed by the company located on a right-of-way granted by Suffolk County from the TJB. The transmission cable will be approximately 320 kilovolts DC and will run underground parallel to Fire Island Beach Road within the paved Smith Point County Park parking lot on a right-of-way granted by Suffolk County, approximately 2,000 feet west, crossing under the William Floyd Parkway to a recreational area located west of the William Floyd Parkway, located on a right-of-way granted by Suffolk County. 4, then the transmission cable will travel underwater across the Intercoastal Waterway, ICW, in a right-of-way granted by the Town of Brookhaven in a northwest direction via a horizontal directional drill approximately 0.5 miles in length to a paved parking lot within the Smith Point Marina along East Concourse Drive. 5, then the transmission cable will travel north approximately 800 feet underground pursuant to a right-of-way granted by Suffolk County, then underground east approximately 550 feet following East Concourse Drive pursuant to a right-of-way granted by the Town of Brookhaven. 6, then underground north approximately 3.6 miles along William Floyd Parkway, located on a right-of-way granted by Suffolk County to the intersection with Surrey Circle. 7, the transmission cable will be routed underground along Surrey Circle pursuant to a right-of-way granted by the Town of Brookhaven for approximately 0.1 miles and will continue north along Church Road pursuant to private easements and or right-of-ways granted by the Town of Brookhaven, crossing under the Long Island Railroad, LIRR, to Mastic Boulevard pursuant to a right-of-way by the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, MTA. 8, then underground west along Mastic Boulevard pursuant to a right-of-way granted by the Town of Brookhaven, approximately 0.2 miles to the intersection with Francine Place pursuant to a right-of-way granted by the Town of Brookhaven, and underground and north on Francine Place for approximately 0.1 miles to the intersection of Montauk Highway pursuant to a right-of-way granted by Suffolk County. 9, then the transmission cable will cross under the Montauk Highway to Revilio Avenue pursuant to a right-of-way granted by the Town of Brookhaven and continuing underground north along Revilio Avenue for approximately 0.07 miles to the work area for the Sunrise Highway crossing. 10, then the transmission cable will cross under Sunrise Highway pursuant to a right-of-way granted by the New York State Department of Transportation, NYSDOT, to Revilio Avenue, continuing underground north to the intersection of Victory Avenue pursuant to a right-of-way granted by the Town of Brookhaven, then continue west on Victory Avenue pursuant to a right-of-way granted by Suffolk County, continuing underground, crossing under the Carmen's River approximately 2.1 miles to Horse Block Road. 11, then the transmission cable will continue underground northwest along Horse Block Road pursuant to a right-of-way granted by Suffolk County for approximately 3.2 miles before turning north along Columbus Avenue pursuant to right-of-ways and/or easements granted by the town of Brookhaven and the Long Island Power Authority for 100 feet. Then under the LIRR pursuant to a right-of-way by the MTA to Horse Block Road North Ramp 80 feet and continuing underground northwest along Horse Block Road North Ramp 190 feet. Then continuing underground along North Horse Block Road 1,400 feet. 12, then the transmission cable will be routed west underground along the Long Island Expressway, LIE, South Service Road, pursuant to a right-of-way granted by the New York State DOT for approximately 4.1 miles, and continue on Waverly Avenue pursuant to a right-of-way granted by the town of Brookhaven, where it will turn south for approximately 0.4 miles to Long Island Avenue pursuant to a right-of-way granted by the town of Brookhaven. And 13, the transmission cable will then follow Long Island Avenue west pursuant to a right-of-way granted by the town of Brookhaven to Union Avenue to 3 new buildings totaling approximately 550,000 square feet to be constructed by the company, comprising the onshore converter station located on a 7.1 acre parcel. Collectively, the transmission cable will contain a total of approximately 17.5 miles, 320 kilovolts, and up to 320 kilovolts and up to 1 mile, 138 kilovolts of alternative current AC onshore connections cable connecting to the existing Holbrook substation, which is owned and operated by the Long Island Power Authority. The company's rights in the right-of-way, collectively the land, and the company's rights in the personal property and equipment, collectively the equipment, and the company's rights in the fixtures and improvements to real property, collectively the improvements, and collectively the land, equipment, and improvements, the facility, which facility is to be leased and subleased by the agency to the company for use in supplying power to the New York State's existing electrical grid and will support offshore wind and energy goals established by New York State, the project. The facility will be initially owned, operated, and/or managed by the company. The agency previously acquired a subleasehold interest in the land, a leasehold interest in the improvements, and title to or a leasehold interest in the equipment, and subleased, and leased the facility to the company. The agency contemplates that it will provide financial assistance to the company in form of exemptions from sales and use taxes and continued abatement of real property taxes consistent with the policies of the agency. A representative of the agency will, at the above stated time and place, hear and accept written comments from all persons with views in favor of or opposed to either the proposed financial assistance to the company or the location or nature of the facility. Prior to the hearing, all persons will have the opportunity to review on the agency's website, brookhavenida.org, the application for financial assistance filed by the company with the agency and an analysis of the costs and benefits of the proposed facility. This was dated April 12, 2025, Town of Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency by Lisa Mulligan, Title Chief Executive Officer. There is no participation yet in this public hearing. I am going to leave this open in case anybody joins or wants to make a comment. This is the Town of Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency public hearing for the Sunrise Wind LLC project. It is 11:34 on April 22nd. There has been no participation and no comments for this public hearing. And in as much, I am closing this public hearing. Thank you.